Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Think of all that time. Every wait in the winter. All that time. No one else saw. Every sprint in the summer. Think of every sacrifice. Early mornings on the levee. Late nights in the film room. Bus rides to playoff games. Every bump in the road. Every moment of ecstasy. Every moment of doubt. Years wondering. Is it all worth it? It's all led to this. Man, I got this. It's a 60-minute drive for a 60-minute game. After all the miles we've traveled, we're almost there. After all the hours we've worked, one more can make us legends. After all that time, this is our time. Caveman on the line. HG got the stats.
No filters, no suits, just facts on blast.
He seems like no nonsense guy. Like
re-emphasize that for the Saints fans out there on TikTok. Caveman. What did you just say?
The rebuild starts right now.
Marshawn
Lattimore's gone, so the defense, like we're not getting any better.
To the left, got the edge and grind. We break it all
Get it into
down
Smith.
like
What a pass! Got Daniel Smith with the game winner! Oh my goodness!
And that is why you have Aaron Fry pass the ball in.
We roar from the base to the backfield floor. No filters, no fake control. We
So real here. Like you have you have the best quarterback in the league, arguably, the best wide receiver in the league, and you've got the best edge rusher in terms of total sacks in the season. You're 4-7, and your playoff chances are hanging on by it.
HG on deck, stats loaded and primed. Reading the field.
Let's make it interesting.
We're making it interesting. Come on. Give us the freaking one.
Breaking down ball like a heat wave blade.
Oh, let's go! Oh, no. Put him in there. Did not put him in there.
We see through the hype. Call out the feed.
So don't you go saying that you're never going to see that. You're such a hater.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
For your
You are looking live, everybody, at Till the Final Whistle on Military Broadcast Radio. The station letting our veterans' voices be heard. HG and Caveman in the building today, ready to break down Super Bowl Sunday in a football frenzy finale today, man. We saw Drake Maye. I mean, in a season, he only got sacked 17 times this year, and he came out in the Super Bowl This is the most frazzled I think I've ever seen him in his career. Sacked 6 times, pressured so much, but got a lot to break down from that game. Incredible defensive performances. We'll get into some off-season stuff. Way too early, top 32 rankings. And we got plenty of stuff on the schedule today. So for our finale episode.
Yeah, I think it's something important to remember with Drake Maye here. His final 3 games of the season were his worst 3 games in terms of total EPA per play. He just hit a massive cliff at the end of the year and just really struggled against top end defenses, which is he played 3 top 5 defenses in a row and struggled mightily against them. He just got really lucky that the quarterbacks that on the other side of the ball were either just very inexperienced or played absolutely horrible. But he didn't have that luxury in the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold was really solid, but eventually this Patriots defensive line just wasn't able to contain Kenneth Walker.
Not at all. It didn't matter what run play they ran. Inside zones to outside zones, counters, and they were successful in any run play they really called in this one. My dad and I were watching it. It was on my birthday on Sunday. We're watching the game, hanging out. The first 10-yard run breaks out for Kenneth Walker in the opening possession for Seattle. We looked over at each other. We're like, man, this is already over.
Yeah. If they weren't able to keep him hemmed in, they were going to be in a lot of trouble.
Because their offense didn't look like they deserved to be there at all. Their offense was terrible.
I'll give New England's defense some credit. I mean, they did a pretty good job of at least slowing Seattle down. Like they were bending, but they didn't break,
They had a lot of shots.
Right.
The game was 12-0, and it felt like it was over.
I mean, the defense kept him in it for a long time.
They tried their best.
But you flip it to the other side of the ball, and I mean, Seattle's defense, certainly one of the better units we've seen take a team to the Super Bowl in a long time. Darnold, JSN, Kenneth Walker, those guys were all great on the offensive side of the ball, but Mike McDonald and his defensive schemes and all this talent that he brought in here were really was that the Seattle's identity as a team, and they were the ones that really sealed this game.
Oh yeah.
It was just like that. You would like with how dominant they were on defense, you'd think it was like a defensive player that could get it, but like everyone across the board on the defense was contributing. There wasn't really like one standout guy, like maybe you could give it to Derek Hall or Byron Murphy, who had 2 sacks, or Devin Witherspoon or Ernest Jones, but it was
a group effort.
I mean,
it was a collective.
Just so many guys making plays. And I like Kenneth Walker on the flip side really was the one that helped sustain a number of drives for Seattle. Like I said, I mean, the Patriots did a pretty good job of containing JSN. I mean, he only had 27 receiving yards. It was Cooper Kupp that actually led the team in receiving, and only 202 passing yards for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it was a really slower paced game. But I guess that is a credit to the Patriots defense, because I mean there are some incredible plays in the secondary from Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, he made some insane plays.
Going step for step with Rashid Shaheed, one of the fastest guys in the league, just perfectly timed his break on that post route so he could make the perfect play on the ball and break up that pass
He almost
early.
got
that was just beautiful.
Then he almost got one in the end zone on JSN. Like JSN had to play some defense there. Like he undercut that route.
He jumped that perfectly.
Beautifully.
That was insane.
Had his hands on it, but JSN just the Emerald City route artist just knocked it out of his hands before he could squeeze it.
I gotta find this post real quick while we're talking about this. They made a bunch of different names for a bunch of different players now.
I was calling during the game. I was calling Gonzalez the Beantown clamp machine. Yeah, I've seen some good ones.
The Beantown clamp machine.
Shout out Bladen Kirk from the Stay Hot podcast. But yeah, he was great in his coverage. I mean, so was Carlton Davis. I mean, they were keeping, like I said, they were keeping the Patriots and this. The big difference is Seattle was able to at least get some drives going, get some yardage, and you have an excellent kicker who honestly could have won MVP in Jason Maye.
Dude, he really could have won it.
He had more points scored in this game than the Patriots did as a team. Man. Jason Maye scored 17 points. The Patriots scored 13.
Either him or your punter. Michael Dixon was a beast in this one.
Dude,
and
my God.
Pinned the Patriots offense back and just made drives that much more difficult.
Dude, especially
with his placement.
His final punt was probably his best because the Patriots literally sent 11 guys to block that thing. And so obviously your thought is like, I gotta just try to get that thing off. And not only did he get it off, he like coffin cornered it. That thing bounced out at the 5-yard line.
Yeah. He got a perfect line drive shot, bounced out right at the 5 or 6 yard line. I mean, they already had the nail in the coffin, but that was like the stake. That was the final. That was really the final blow.
Yeah, that really put a lot of pressure. I made it almost an insurmountable task for him there. So, Seattle just was the more complete team at all three phases.
They're dominant.
And, this game, like Darnold, I think his numbers aren't anything that, like, jump off the page at you, like 19 of 38, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers, only got sacked 1 time. But I thought he did a great job of evading pressure. Like there were a number of times where New England got a free rusher in there, and his ability to slide and move up in the pocket and just kind of manipulate that space there made a huge difference. He should have had it would have been like an 80-something yard touchdown if that ball could have connected to JSN, where he avoided pressure and then got that throw off on the run. That was nearly a house call there.
He just barely on his touch there. Just put a little bit too much on it. It was like just a step or two out of reach for JSN. That would have been gone. Would have been a walk-in touchdown. It was really just a pure beatdown.
Then he had a good scramble there too. This Seattle defense, though, I don't know where I would rank them historically all time, just as in terms of a single team or a total team defense for a single season. But it's hard to not want to say that they're around, top 10 when you just think of the historic defenses that were the big reason why a team won the Super Bowl. I do think they had their team's offense was definitely a bit more was a bit better than like a team like the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens.
I'll never forgive Bo Nix for breaking his ankle and having him spare us from that abomination.
I think it would have been a lot more competitive with the Broncos in that Super Bowl.
Way more competitive. Seattle wasn't even that good this year.
Yeah, we could have been in the exact same scenario where the Broncos are going into the fourth quarter down 12-0, and with how they came back all year, that would have given us one more fantastic finish to the game. But yeah, instead we got the schedule merchant throwing 2 interceptions, fumbling one time.
You wouldn't have seen as much pressure. I mean, Bo Nix would have had a lot more time in the pocket, a lot more time to assess what Seattle's defense was doing, and probably would have had a lot stronger of a push up front in the run game too, where at least you could have RJ Harvey and kind of keep some drives going in the run game. But I mean, the Broncos had a way better chance at winning this game than New England.
Yeah,
it's really unfortunate.
You didn't miss
really
too much. It was a pretty big skill gap here. New England had been benefiting from playing bad teams all year, and then they got to the postseason. You had the run was of historically a big playoff choker in Justin Herbert. CJ Stroud played one of the worst games of football a quarterback has ever played in the postseason, and then you got a backup QB. Then you're going on into play a Seattle team that's got a competent quarterback, a good running game, and another elite defense. The humbling moment was coming for the Patriots. I thought it was going to happen earlier in the playoffs. Just so happened that it was in the Super Bowl. But that was it was coming for him eventually. I mean, this I think also pretty vindicating for Matthew Stafford. You think about like how he played in 3 games against. I mean, obviously he had 3 shots against the Seattle defense, where Drake Maye only had 1, but he was a lot better in all 3 games, and despite only going 1-2 against them,
still got him. Still got him 1 time this season.
I can't really blame. I can't say Stafford's the reason that Seattle or that the Rams lost against Seattle.
I mean, he's easily the MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just so much unique looks, and really any time that they brought a corner off the edge, Seattle, it's like they came free. Like they were never expecting that one guy to come off the edge, one defensive back to come in and blitz. They just never expected it or never ready for it when they would call it. So many different looks thrown at him. Second year guy, your offensive line, left tackle, a lot of question, rookie. They attacked Will Campbell quite a bit. Yeah, Derek Hall go 1-on-1 up against him all day long. I mean, it was cookies. I will say, though, there's one clip that keeps going around. Derek Hall comes around the edge. This is one of the earlier sacks in the game that he took. And whoever the guard was tried to double team and hit Hall off the block. And then he was wide open to run to the sack. Like, yeah, Will Campbell was getting backed up into the quarterback, but he was still like engaged in the block. And then his teammate hit him from the side, and he broke off.
Will Campbell didn't even get beat the worst. It was, I don't even know this guy's name, but it was the left guard, so the guy next to Campbell, wore number 52, I believe.
Riley, 52 or 57.
Yeah. Riley Mills literally just drove him back into Drake Maye.
Yeah.
And then just threw both of them to the ground.
Like
that guy got dominated
Will Campbell.
badly. And that isn't even by like the starting defense, neither starting defensive tackle.
Yeah.
That's one of their backups.
Like Will Campbell definitely got targeted in this game by Seattle's defense. Their edge rushers definitely were looking for that matchup. But he's not really the one, I would say, to blame. I mean, he did.
And the whole line was
The
bad.
whole offensive line as a group played terribly.
They got sacked 6 times. Maye got sacked 6 times. They had absolutely no push up front when it came to running the football. I mean, Drake Maye was your leading rusher, and a lot of those yards just came off of him scrambling out of a broken play. Yeah, I mean, I can't even really, like, in my head there Ramondre Stevenson or Travion Henderson gaining positive yards, but they had 23 and 19. So, I mean,
there was a couple.
They got some yardage, but
Travion Henderson, all of his yards came in those garbage time drives where Seattle's foot was clearly off the gas pedal. And like, I don't know how you can be that disciplined as a team and like have that much chemistry where you're pretty much blitzing almost every down and you're maintaining that gap discipline where Drake Maye wasn't even really scrambling that much at all either. Like he didn't really have anywhere to go with the football.
Yeah. The Drake Maye also hit a nasty stat pad. 235 of his 295 yards came in the fourth quarter after they were down. And like,
yeah, how many yards did they have in the first half? 56 total yards in the first half for the Patriots.
Absolutely.
My God.
Shut down. Right. Like that's really all you had to do to beat the Patriots is just not turn the ball over and give them a short field. That was where they were benefiting hugely in the postseason. You think about they had a defensive score against the Texans. I mean, they had maybe 1 to 2 good drives in that game that weren't set up, where they had to go, a good distance down the field. Most of their other scores just came off of the CJ Stroud interceptions. That's where they got a lot of their points. Against the Chargers was a few Justin Herbert turnovers, and they again were just sacking him like crazy. Their only touchdown against the Broncos came off of Jared Stidham panic throwing the ball and it getting ruled a backward pass.
Yeah.
Like Seattle was just too good, too disciplined to let something like that happen. What do you think of Super Bowl MVP though? Going to Kenneth Walker. I think I'm with that because he had
I'm with that too.
170 total yards. Didn't score it, but when you like the defensive side of the ball for Seattle, everyone was doing everything so well and everyone was getting involved. And Kenneth Walker was really what was keeping the Seahawks offense afloat while they were kind of off to a sluggish start.
Yeah. He was really the guy all game for Seattle's offense. And they let him just take the reins, control it. And anyone on the defense, man, Ernest Jones, he'd play like a beast.
Yeah.
Byron Murphy, Derek Hall. I mean, the defensive unit was a collective. It wasn't just one guy that really stood out on the defense. It was just a different guy every other play was making something happen.
Yeah. For Seattle, they're in a decent spot with their cap. Like they have a lot of cap space left, but they're going to need to spend because JSN and Devin Weatherspoon are eligible for extensions. Rashid Shaheed, Kenneth Walker, and Kobe Bryant are all set to become free agents. They've got a team set. The team's expected to be sold. So it's like they've got a lot of money in cap space. Right now they can still move some things around, but I think they're their projected cap space is going to be somewhere around 73 million come the new league year.
Yeah.
You're gonna obviously there's a lot of guys that you're gonna want to try to bring back and they sign to extensions. With the sale of a team, you never know like how new ownership is gonna go. So it was good that they got this done because I mean it could be tougher for them to get back the next year, you know. You definitely didn't want to miss this window. This was probably this is going to be your best opportunity for a while. Just with how competitive the NFC genuinely is. And you've got a tough division, you know, the Stafford Steady's coming back. You know, you can't predict that you got to imagine the 49ers aren't going to be so injured next year, but who knows, maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
Obviously, like you've got a team like the Lions could obviously be back in the mix the next year. The Eagles, obviously, a team that is going to rebound pretty well. They build good teams there. The Bears are good again. The Packers are good. I mean, the Saints have Tyler Shuck, you know, future league MVP.
Just got to clear up some cap space for the boy. Just got to clear up some cap space.
The Giants just brought in John Harbaugh, so it's like
the NFC just gets more interesting as the day goes by.
You're just like, I think you're gonna have to spend. You're gonna need to extend some guys,
because you just lost your coordinator too.
Yeah.
You got to hire somebody that's going to be
right. You lost your offensive coordinator,
just like Clint Kubiak.
So like you had like all the perfect conditions this year. I think they're like I think back to the Lions when they lost in the NFC Championship, and Dan Campbell said that might have been our only shot. Seattle's not in as they've got a little bit more wiggle room, like I said, with their ability to bring back a lot of those pieces that built, like the players at least that built the Super Bowl team. I
mean, they have a lot of roster room too. They currently don't even have like 60 guys, 50 guys. They only have 41 active players.
So
I mean, they got a lot. They got room to clear up. That's literally the lowest amount out of any team.
I think they're not going to see a ton of personnel turnover in terms of player personnel, but yeah, coaching wise and in the front office, we might see, you know, new ownership coming in and just the success of the team. Obviously, they've already lost their offensive coordinator, you know, but there are other teams, you know, like guys are going to probably get promoted. They're offered bigger salaries elsewhere. So you might lose some of your assistants in the front office and things like that. That might, so they'll just be, you know, that turnover can be tough to then get back to where you're trying to go, especially when you're in a very competitive division like the NFC West and the more competitive conference of the NFC in general.
Yeah, they're in a pretty good spot to really make the right decisions though. With the 73 million free, projected to be top 5 in teams with open cap space right now. There's no team except for the Rams. The Rams and the Patriots in your top 10 that were really competing for all that much in cap space. So it's looking like to be a pretty good spot for them.
Seattle should be in a much better situation to be back sooner than, you know, some other teams, because like I think they're at least in a good spot to not just, you know, they don't have a ton of guys that they're about to just leave a free agency, and they've at least got the money. You know, they didn't they didn't blow all their cap space and all their money building this team to where now they're going to have to kind of let people walk in.
Yep.
And then try to reconstruct the roster. So they got that ring, and they could be honestly back in a similar spot a lot sooner rather than later. They're better set up to be able to contend again.
Oh yeah. And this game also marks first quarterback from the 25-26 draft class has won a Super Bowl.
2018.
No, Jalen Milroe is the third string quarterback on the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh.
So he's first rookie QB from this draft class to win a Super Bowl. Jalen Milroe, baby. Let's go.
Sam Darnold's the first quarterback from the 2018 draft class to win a Super Bowl.
That is insane.
The one with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I mean, even Baker Mayfield was just going into this season seen as a better quarterback. Than probably.
Dude.
And I mean, the most shocking one is that Josh Rosen has.
That's what I was going to say. That one's really disappointing.
Yeah. There were 9 mistakes taken ahead of him, apparently. But, yeah, man. Who would have thought Sam Darnold, seeing ghosts, out with mononucleosis, Sam Darnold would be that first quarterback.
Love that.
To win
that graphic.
To win a Super Bowl. Good for him, man. What a great comeback story that is, though. I mean, he was pretty great this season. All right, like early on in the year, the Seahawks were really struggling to run the football, but like Sam Darnold, he did have a slight turnover problem in the middle part of the season, but he still threw for over 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns this year, and did help carry the offense some weeks. All right.
He was a beast, man. And there's no doubt about it. And there is clear improvement in his game too, and just he's definitely a veteran quarterback in this league now. This season alone, I think, even though he said turnover problems a little bit midway through the season, but their final few games leading into the playoffs was an incredible run. And this postseason run, getting the number 1 seed, bye week, taking out 2 division rivals on your way to the Super Bowl, and then you dominate like this. I mean, he's made a huge name for himself this season.
He wasn't the only former New York player that got a ring getting on this team. Leonard Williams.
Oh yeah,
he was a giant though, not a jet, but he got free from the curse of New York. He gets a ring. DeMarcus Lawrence, the second player named with the first name DeMarcus to leave the Cowboys and then win a Super Bowl ring, and he did it 10 Super Bowls later since the last one. DeMarcus Ware did it back in 2015 with the Broncos.
Did they both win it on the first year?
No, DeMarcus Ware was there for a couple of years before the Broncos got to a Super Bowl.
Okay, that's hilarious that he left the Cowboys at the end of last season, and everyone was saying that he was kind of washed up and old. Then he goes one season and he already wins a ring. He was pretty important role in this team too.
Yeah, the guy who I was like kind of shocked was having such a quiet night was Uchenna Nwosu until he got that pick 6 that the deflection
right into his hands,
and just he was off to the races there. You know, Jake Bobo getting his Super Bowl ring, love to see that.
Beautiful. Rashid Shaheed getting a ring, love it.
Nice.
Love
Cooper
it.
Kupp getting his second, man. That's
There's another Rams player on their defense. Pretty sure it's actually Ernest Jones. He was on the Rams. Yeah, he was on the Rams 2021 team. So a lot of guys picking up some other rings here.
Yeah. This was it was hard to dislike the Seattle, Seahawks team. Like Mike McDonald
Seriously.
he was like an intern with a football team for a little bit, and I mean, it looked like he was just going to have to give up on coaching, and then he got one more shot, and then really just took off with he got I forgot where, but somewhere in the
Michigan.
But this was Michigan. That's right.
He's head coach from Michigan.
Got that the defensive coordinator position with Baltimore, and then just in 2 years' time gets the Seahawks to the Super Bowl and wins them a ring.
That's wild. Because where did Vrabel start coaching? Ohio State. It all came down to Ohio State versus Michigan. What the heck?
It always.
What do you know? It always leads back to that rivalry. What do you know?
All right. Well, for the Patriots, man, what do you think they're going to have to do to get back here? I mean, it's going to be they aren't going to have one of the easiest schedules in the league next year. I mean, they're playing that first place schedule. Still got the Bills in their division.
Do as much as they can to really. I think they need to keep their depth as much as possible. And I think their wide receiver one had questions, Mr. quote unquote comeback player of the year. Only came back for the regular season, did nothing in the playoffs. Stephon Diggs. Your wide receiver one is in question. $36 million available. Drake Maye is a true number one wide receiver going into the next season. True number one weapon, or maybe a legit tight end option like Njoku. After he just announced he's definitely not going to be re-signing with Cleveland.
Or take a shot on Kenyon Sadiq if you can get him in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your guy some weapons because, I mean, when he is protected, just build your own line, build in the trenches, and get him some weapons because he can sling it when he's protected.
I think the O-line, they're going to need to work on that. They were pretty porous against protecting him. He got sacked a lot in the postseason. I think, man, let's see, how many times did the Chargers get him? It was 15. He had been sacked 15 times going into the Super Bowl, and they got him 6 more. So he got sacked 21 times this postseason.
My gosh,
that's a big issue. I don't think Will Campbell's honestly a terrible offensive lineman. I just think that maybe he's not as good at tackle as some other guys. I don't know. Maybe it might be worthwhile to move him inside. I feel like he'd be fine as a guard. I think he's not quite as he's not quite athletic enough or long enough to play tackle in the NFL. It's been a bit of a struggle for him against some premier edge rushers. I agree that I think Maye could use, maybe a real number one tight end option or somebody who could be a little bit more of a reliable number one wide receiver. And then I think they but again, I think the offensive line and being able to run the football, because Maye can be really dangerous when they were running it well, and then he can come out of those play actions, and I mean either use his legs and on like those boots, or he has got the arm talent to sling it downfield. So
I think they got something with Travion. If that's the route they decided to go at running back, like that's definitely a guy
but
you want to keep building around.
They're just going to need to, again, the offensive line.
It's got to be better.
It really struggled to generate a good run game against premier defensive line units. So I think that was sort of that was an issue that was sort of, it was like putting lipstick on a pig, where it's like, like they really weren't as good as they looked because they weren't facing a ton of premier defensive line units. And we saw there were some flashes of that in the season. Like Myles Garrett sacked Drake Maye 5 times in one game, they're in. So just instances like that where they kind of got against the Steelers. I mean, they fumbled a lot, and that was one of their early on L's. Kind of made that Falcons game a lot closer because they struggled against the Falcons offensive or against their defensive line. So there were some times where there were flashes where it was like, okay, maybe this O line's not actually as good as we think, just because the Patriots offense is humming it. Like, it might be the strength of the competition that they're playing,
Yeah.
I think what could also really benefit them, I like their secondary. I think if they can keep that secondary together,
yeah, that's a great group.
I feel like they're going to need to find a replacement for Robert Spillane. They've got good interior defensive linemen. I think they could really use like a disruptor on the edge. I like Milton Williams is fantastic against the run, and he had a solid season rushing the passer. He missed some time with injury, but only ended up recording 3.5 sacks because of that. But they were a lot worse against the run without him in there. So, I mean, like, you've kind of got a premier guy in the middle there. But I think somebody that could be just disruptive off the edge, a guy that could force, like just a game changer, somebody like that could be beneficial for them if they want a shot to get back to here. But I think I was gonna have to pick one of these two teams to go back, I think Seattle's is in a better spot to do it.
Yeah, more money to work with. It's way more of a built team, way insanely deep defensive roster, and I mean, your offensive line. I believe their center is a rookie, right?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, you got somebody who's leading your offensive line as young as he is, fresh face as he is in the league. And your offensive line, I mean, other than just finding some little bit of power in the run game earlier in the season and just helping out Mr. Anthony Bradford.
Oh, no, Garrett Bradbury is their center. He's been in the league for a while.
Okay. Well, wherever they have Gray Zabel.
Oh, that's the you're talking about the Seahawks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Zabel is a right guard. He's one of the guards. He's not their center though.
Okay. Like a guy as young as him in your offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, that group is just dominant.
That was fantastic. This season. So he could, I mean, he might be sooner rather than later eligible for like one of the candidates for protector of the year. He had a really great rookie campaign. So Seattle, I think, is in a much better spot to come back, but it's really difficult to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yep. You gotta make the perfect moves, or just hope the luck swings your way. No, you don't want any injuries. Hoping everyone's healthy come playoff time. Yeah, there's so many different factors going in. It's not easy making it back.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've about covered all we can with the big game.
The better team won easily,
pretty handily. Yeah, that was a little bit of an unfortunate way for a really amazing NFL season to end, but at least there were some good stories and some really deserving players that got a ring, got to hoist the Lombardi. All right. Well, should we take a look at ESPN's way too early power rankings for next year?
Let's take a look. I think I was looking at Fox's. They actually got Denver Broncos at number 1.
Oh, nice.
and on Fox.
Well, we might have to look at that one too then. But we'll go with ESPN's power rankings. Do we want to start at the bottom or at the top?
Let's start from the bottom.
Start from the bottom. All right.
Because I think the top ones might be
All right.
not as much to say about. We might have some funny moments for these
Well,
games.
Well, go starting down at number 32, we've got the Cleveland Browns. Their offseason, in 3 words, according to ESPN, is all in on offense. They were last in scoring over the past 2 seasons. They don't really have a lot of weapons out there at wide receiver. You've got a young quarterback who will likely be your starter. They brought in Todd Monken, an offensive coordinator, veteran offensive mind. He's had some experience head coaching before. I think you've got a solid running game there. You found something in Harold Fannin, so it's got to start with the offensive line. I think first and foremost is the most important thing. Put together a good O-line unit. You've got some really impressive backs in Quinshawn Judkins and Dylan Sampson. Those guys could be a really good tandem.
They have good prospects.
Yeah, and then I think you just need a true playmaker at wide receiver. Like Jerry Judy's not getting it done. I mean, like then who's like number 2? It's like who is the Browns number 2? I don't even.
I mean, it's freaking.
It's like
it's Cedric Wilson Jr. Is that his name?
I think Cedric.
It's Cedric something.
Yeah, and then you've got rookie Isaiah Bond, but they have really nobody that will stress a defensive unit besides Fannin, I believe. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you could. There's some solid like veteran backs too that you could sign for a cheap price, but they're going to have a lot of it's going to be difficult for Cleveland with their Deshaun Watson cap situation and everything right there as well. So, I mean, I think they're going to have to try to hit more on in the draft than in free agency.
Yeah. Projected to have negative 19 million new fiscal year with 39 million in dead cap. So, I mean, they're doing a little bit better. Average age of their roster is a lot younger right now. And
I'm taking a look at all their players that they have set to become a free agent. I mean, they're losing both of their guards, Joel Benito and Wyatt Teller, which I guess and Cam Robinson. I mean, their whole offensive line a lot of their offensive linemen are set to become free agents. Ethan Poyerchik. On the defensive side, they're not losing. It doesn't look like they're losing too many important pieces. I mean, Shelby Harris is set to become a free agent. Rayshawn Jenkins, Martin Emerson is. So some key guys, but nobody too. Ronnie Hickman, that'll hurt if they can't get a deal with him. But he's a restricted free agent, so that it'll be easier to get a deal done with him. But those are just some of their upcoming. They're going to be losing their punter, and if we go and look at where the Browns are at in cap space,
pretty low,
not good. They are 27th. They're projected to be
negative
23 million under or over the cap. So
they're not doing well right now.
It was a team that struggled in 2025, and really they're very dependent on the draft. And I mean, there's some good there's always, it's possible to build a good team mostly through the draft, but it's a lot harder when you just can't do as much in free agency. It really is.
They need to take this slow, eat this 39 million dead cap this year. And I mean, if Cleveland's offseason moves this year aren't just signing as many and drafting as many offensive linemen and defensive linemen as possible, then just write them off your schedules for next year, because you're not even gonna even really be caring
I
about
think
what's happening. They got to start rebuilding this team for real. You got your upside and your skill positions. Protect your quarterback now.
I do think they have 2 first-round picks
Yeah,
through trades, so
they got to
go
make serious
get a wide
moves.
receiver and an offensive lineman in round 1. And I mean, you're
And
not.
in
I don't think
round
you're
4, maybe in like round 4, 6, and
right.
7, get you an offensive lineman too.
You're probably not going to be good still. You're just going to have to let some of these young guys get some more experience and get the expectations should not be high. I mean,
You're like, obviously
down
that's
here at 32, do I still have some confidence in Shador? Do I believe they'll be the worst team in the league next year? No, but I do think they could be. I mean, they're probably going to be in like the bottom 7 or 8 teams in terms of record again. There's not a lot of hope there.
just they got to genuinely,
in fact,
start rebuilding this team.
I would probably flip them with the Jets. I think they're better at 31. The Jets should be 32. The Jets, one bright side, they have a lot of draft capital. And they are going to have a lot of money to work with in free agency. They've got a ton.
They're third right now.
Third in cap space right now.
82 million.
Could be right. That could be around 78 million. Anywhere from 78 million to 82 million. But they've got a lot more prospects there. Obviously, they have the Colts first round pick. The roster's so depleted. That's my big thing with them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's not a particularly deep quarterback draft class. So it's like it might be another year of Justin Fields. I don't hate. Obviously, you're not going to get Mendoza. I don't hate Trinidad Chambliss. I'm not sold on Ty Simpson, unfortunately. But you've got, you already have, like, besides Garrett Wilson, you're very depleted at wide receiver, and you're losing 2 more in Reynolds and Mechie. You're going to be losing Breece Hall.
Ooh.
And then, I'm looking at their list. There aren't a lot of guys on here that I'm like, oh, they're losing that guy, and that's going to make a big difference. Nick Folk, they'll be losing. Andrew Sisko, Quincy Williams, Tyrod Taylor's set to become a free agent. So, again, the Jets, another team where if I had to, we'll get some record predictions too, some way too early record predictions. The Browns, I think, floor is like a 3-14, 2-15.
Yeah, that's genuinely.
The Browns' ceiling, I think, is like 7-10. I think like the Jets, their floor is like 2-15,
and their ceiling is like 4 wins.
Their ceiling, I think, is 5-12.
Yeah, like 4-13, 5-12 range.
Yeah. I think they just have, I'll say 6-11, because they've got a lot of cap space, so they're not going to have the quarterback. I don't know what they're going to do with the quarterback. It's just like it's not a great year to need a quarterback, and so they might.
Yeah,
and that's still a pretty important position to have,
especially in the free agency. Not a lot of big name quarterbacks that you can go out there and just give a bag to. And this is it's a tough off season to be an offensive play caller, because you got not a lot of QBs out there.
I don't trust their front office that much.
No, not at all.
And I think, it's just like you've got almost every position needs a major upgrade and overhaul. And so even if they do land some big name, like it's going to be hard to attract bigger name free agents there. Yeah. I think 6 wins is the max they can pull off next year.
They got to make the right moves.
All right, we got the Raiders at number 30. Their offseason in 3 words: fix the trenches.
Got to.
I like the Clint Kubiak hiring. When you've got a couple of other fantastic offensive weapons, Genty and Brock Bowers there. The obvious, and you're gonna probably get Fernando Mendoza, but your offensive line was atrocious.
Doo-doo. How do you have the worst rushing offense in the league with
Right.
Ashton Genty?
Could not
That's
run the
crazy.
ball for
That's just
anything.
crazy talk.
You don't really have any weapons out to throw to besides Bowers with Jacoby Myers gone. So the trenches need to be fixed first and foremost. That's the most important thing. And then you've got at least
on both
a
sides of the
solid receiver and Trey Tucker still there. So I would honestly say, I might try to even trade Max Crosby and try to get a haul from him. I think the relationship there is kind of strained.
They're doing their best to try and rebuild it. I think they got Brady in there, co-owner, new coach. Like, this is the year where it feels like their off-season moves might actually shake something up in the regular season, but
they do have the second most money, so that's good there.
Yeah, they got $87 million.
And
they're really in a place to grow right now.
Let's see who they are losing. Any big names? I mean, they're going to be losing one of their starting corners and Eric Stokes. Their kicker is set to become a free agent.
That's something else I was going to say about this team is fix the trenches on both sides of the ball, but they need playmakers in their defense.
That's true.
They just need guys.
I think you have a pretty solid edge rusher class. There's some solid edge rushers set to be coming out. So I'm not hating trading Bosa for some more, or not Bosa, Crosby. I feel like he's also struggling to consistently really get pressure. Trey Hendrickson he's the big name out there, but Khalil Mack, Hassan Reddick, Danico Autry, Tremont Jones, he had a pretty solid year. He might be a sneaky add there. Could go with a vet piece like Kyle Van Noy. Josh Uche, Marcus Davenport, Boye Mafe, Al-Quadin Muhammad. That's a sneaky one. He had a pretty solid year. Right. I don't know, for what you're paying Crosby and what he's offering, what he's been offering the team, it hasn't been very consistent. It's not translating to winning. I think that could be a good you free up some more space even for yourself. And really you're projected to have 87 million, cap. So you could really just go crazy. Spend a lot of money on your offensive line, try to sign a big name defensive piece, draft Fernando Mendoza. Let me see what we're looking at.
So they're gonna
wide receiver wise for all teams, or for who's
gonna be. I mean, it's if you're gonna use this 90 million.
There are a ton of great free agent wide receivers. Nobody that's really
can't go out there and try to put lipstick on pig.
Yeah, nobody's super dynamic. I mean, Mike Evans is set.
That's your number one guy, and he's 30.
I feel like he's more likely to just re-sign with Tampa than anything.
Yeah, he's coming towards the tail end of his career, and he's already a super loyal guy to that team already. I mean, him and that organization have a real good relationship over the years.
All right, but there's a number of guys. I mean, there's a lot of solid or really good offensive linemen, like Tyler Lindenbaum. That's a big one.
Oh yeah.
Greg Van Roten, Connor McGovern. I saw up there. Ryan Bates, Trey Pipkins, Kevin Zietler, Rob Havenstein. Mentioned like Cam Robinson, Wyatt Teller, Jonah Williams, John Simpson. Right. I mean, it's a good draft or a good off season to just spend some money on the offensive line. But we'll go. All right, let's go back to the Raiders. Floor, I think, is like 5-12. Their floor is 5-12. I think their ceiling could be 9-8. They could definitely. I could see them being more competitive next year.
Yeah, I see 9-8, 10-7.
Again, they're in a really tough division, which might be the best division in football. Again, if you've got the Broncos, the Chargers, the Chiefs are gonna, I think, will be better again next year as long as they stay healthy. So,
and aside from those 6 games, coming in with the last place schedule too, get your rookies' feet wet. They'll definitely get some wins. They're gonna look better than they were, but I don't expect them to be anything too crazy of a threat in the AFC just yet. It'll take a little bit of time. Some trust in Clint Kubiak because he's a great coordinator. I think he could be a good coach in this league.
All right, so the Miami Dolphins are at 29.
Time to rebuild. Oh man!
I mean, they got a new general manager and Stephen Ross.
The Minter
or
era.
they fired. That's their owner.
Or the Hafley era.
Yeah, that they brought in John Eric Sullivan as a new general manager. Jeff Hafley as the new defensive coach. Yeah, I think they want to establish a new culture. I think first and foremost, you got to make a decision on Tua. I don't think he's your quarterback of the future. And so that
Jets, there's your guy.
Trade him to the Jets. I don't know. Yeah, do you try to trade him? What do you do? Like, again, it's just not a great year to need a quarterback. So it's like, do you try to make it work with him for another year?
Quinn was all right. You just have Tua be an expensive backup, kind of filter him out like Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix.
Do you try to get him? Do you just release him and try to just take the dead cap, try to get him off the books? Miami's looking at.
Oh man, they already have $35.5 million dead cap.
Yeah, that's
expected 23 in the negative, 23 million.
Yeah, so they're not in a great cap situation right there. And let's see, they have who's set to become a free agent for them. I'll pull that list up here.
Not Zach Wilson.
Dang, rip.
Hey.
They'll be losing starting corner in Kader Coho. A couple of safeties, Ashton Davis, Afatu Melifawanu, Darren Waller. I got Rasul Douglas, Benito Jones, KJ Britt's set to become a free agent. They do still looks like they're still going to have Willie Gay as well. They're going to still have, as far as I can tell, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle there still. So, I mean, Tyreek comes back healthy. What do you like? do you try to trade him? You try to trade Waddle, or I mean, do you think like, okay, we could maybe we keep these guys and we try to make a play for somebody in the interior of our offensive line. I don't think their line was actually that bad. I mean, Aaron Brooks was playing at an All-Pro level, so they're really in an interesting situation here, because I feel like with Miami, their ceiling is like 10-7, but I think their floor is like 7-10 if they like. I don't think they've got some talent to not be terrible, but again, it's like I think they're just going to kind of be in that mid range, where they're going to be like not bad, not really that good.
It's just another team that needs to build in the trenches. They got no big name offensive linemen on their team besides Larry Tunsil,
They don't even have Laramie Tunsil anymore. He's in Washington.
Yeah, he went to Washington.
They do have. What's that? His name's Aaron something. It might not be Aaron Brooks, but he's their like left guard. It's their center, Aaron Brewer. I think he made second team All Pro, so he was really good for him.
Got like one beast offensive lineman.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Like you're saying, they got the weapons on offense to not be terrible.
Achan's still there.
Whoever's starting that QB and whoever's the running back just need some help.
They got Jordan Brooks on defense. He's a good defensive lineman or linebacker.
And I think they could build around him too on defense, and him and Halfley can create a pretty solid relationship with him leading the defense, because that guy led the league in tackles this year. Alone, a pretty quiet season from him, just because the rest of the team wasn't doing so great. I mean, they didn't have the greatest year.
Their season, I think, really depends on what they do with their quarterback position, and what they do with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. You got to make a decision on who's going to be, who's going to be on the team next year. But somebody's probably getting traded or released. All right, coming in at 28, we've got the Arizona Cardinals. Got a reset and reboot.
I feel like they should be lower. I feel like they should be at 29 or 30. Who did they have at 30? Those Raiders.
The Raiders. Yeah, you
can. That's got to be 30 right there.
Yeah, you could probably swap the Raiders and the Cardinals.
Their only upside, I feel like, is that they have a few notable players that they can build off of. But
I'll say they're more built on the defensive side of the ball. They just got really injured in their secondary. And so they were thin in their secondary all year. But when they were healthy, I really loved what Will Johnson, the rookie corner, was doing. Max Milton was having a good season. Buda Baker's back there, obviously. Josh Sweat got off to a pretty solid start on the year as an edge rusher. So I think they gotta bring in some more help just in terms of depth for the secondary, because when they got hurt, they just couldn't really weather the storm. And then maybe just some more rotational pieces for the defensive line. And then a running back couldn't hurt for them. I mean, you've got James Conner's coming back, but he's had some health concerns. Trey Benson showing some promise, but he just couldn't get on the field this year. And so
Yeah, it's like just figuring out who's your guy back there is going to be a start.
And again, the biggest decision though is like, what do you do with Kyler Murray? I mean, I love the weapons they've got in the passing game. I mean, like, well, I think there's still some breakout potential for Marvin Harrison Jr. Michael Wilson is
Yeah,
a
that guy's a
certified
beast.
dog, and then I mean Trey McBride's the best tight end in the NFL. So Arizona, their floor I think is like 6-11. But again, I'm gonna give their ceiling like 10-7. There's enough there. I mean, there's a lot of there's still a lot of work to be done, a lot of decisions, but I think there's enough talent that if the right, I mean, if LaFleur can get it all right,
Yeah.
they could be competitive. It's just tough when I mean, like the division you're in is an absolute, just behemoth, you know.
Yeah. I'm giving their ceiling. We'll go 9, and 8 for them. This will probably be the year where they decide whether or not it's going to be Kyler Murray or not. He'll probably get in there, start out the season. We'll see how it goes for him.
Yeah, they are set to lose some. I mean, they got a lot of offensive linemen set to become free agents. Jonah Williams, Kelvin Beachum, Will Hernandez. They're set to potentially lose Zay Jones, so that's a wide receiver depth. Jalen Thomas, their other safety. Let's see the other. Okay, so those are the big ones that they're set to lose, and then I mean they're losing running back depth potentially with Michael Carter, Bam Knight, both set to, and Amari DiMarcado all set to become free agents. So with the history of their health back there, that's not something they want to see. Greg Dortch as well.
That's not
so
ideal.
they're losing some depth at some positions, and then they're gonna have to rebuild the offensive line up a bit more. All right, the Tennessee Titans. 3 words: just add playmakers
In every position.
They only averaged like 16.7 points per game in 2025. Cam Ward showed a lot of promise. I mean, he's got undeniable talent and incredible arm talents. His ability, I mean, he's a lot more athletic than I think people realize. His ability to accurately throw off platform and off base and I mean, he's had some just absolute beauties of throws if you put on some of his tape.
Yeah. And he just prefers to be a pocket thrower. I mean, he can run it all day long, and he has escapability in the pocket too. It's just moments where some guys really get the opportunity to show that off, their full potential. They got a lot better pieces around him.
Yeah.
It's all he needs.
Get him some playmakers. Let's see.
There's rare moments where you saw him with clean pockets.
I'm looking at their upcoming free agents. Besides Kevin Zeitler, and I mean, I guess losing Johnny Hecker potentially and Joey Sly if they don't work out deals there, but those are replaceable positions. There aren't a whole lot of people I'm looking on here that I'm like, oh, they're gonna miss him. Maybe guys like Kyrie Elam and Jarek Reed in their secondary. I guess they could lose Chigakonkwu. But this was these guys weren't.
Like they hardly use him.
These weren't huge difference makers for the team anyways.
This team's got a lot of money.
Could be
Tennessee might give the bread to David Njoku. Because does Chigakonkwu even get utilized? in the Titans offense for how young he is. Does he really even get that much volume?
Man, he had a pretty. Ugh.
Like he really could have been a solid safety valve for Cam Ward all year long, and that was not in their that was not in their radar for that Titans offense.
I thought he was going to have a much better season. Let me go
And I don't,
see what Chig did this season.
I don't think he had a bad year, but I feel like his volume could have been like doubled, just because of who you had at quarterback. I feel like those two guys could have made some serious plays. I feel like he could have had.
Yeah, I mean, he's a year 3 player, and I mean, with like the top 2 guys in the Titans offense in their passing offense were rookies, and Chig only had 56 catches for 560 yards, 2 touchdowns. So yeah, with how limited the pass catching options are, that just doesn't really like scream to me like this is your guy. So yeah, you could pay David Njoku. I mean, they're gonna have a top 5 pick. They've got a lot of cap space. Not like a ton of guys that you're clamoring to bring back. I forgot to mention Sebastian Joseph Day. So, and even then, like, I mean, like, my top priority, like Zeitler was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I will say that the O-line wasn't horrible, but they were below average for a lot of the season. You're going to need a running back. It's not a crazy deep running back class, but there is some big or free agent class, but there's a decent amount of names out there. ETN, Javonte, Rico Dowdle, Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins, Kenneth Gainwell, Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt hasn't been terrible. A.J. Dillon, Rashad White, Brian Robinson. Yeah, like there's some guys. Like you got Tony Pollard wasn't quite cutting it. So I think I would keep like Pollard's there. So I think you just need to give him just another partner in crime.
Yeah, younger back to build off of. Unless they keep Tyjae Spears, because he wasn't bad.
I think
he wasn't bad, but
Tennessee, I'm going to give them a floor of 5-12, but they have a lot of assets to work with. They've got a ton of money. They've got a really high draft pick. And let me see where they're. Like we can see how many picks they've got in general here in said draft. We go all 7 rounds. They have. Let's see. They've got. Oh my God! It's giving me all these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, they've got 9 draft picks.
Okay.
And they'll be around $100 million in free cap space to work with.
That's a solid receiver class. I can't even lie. The days go by, and I like this wide receiver class, this draft class for receivers more and more. Yeah, Carnell Tate's going to be a beast.
That's
got Mekhi Lemon in there.
That's one of the strongest positions in this year's draft.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So like I think you take like just a dominant dynamic defensive pass rusher at 4. Like I feel like Ruben Bain, it perfectly fits that mold for them right there at pick number 4. You take like Ruben Bain, get yourself a dynamic edge rusher. You've got 8 other picks to work with. You're gonna have close to 100 million in cap space. I could see 11 and 6 as a ceiling for Tennessee.
Oh yeah, 11, 12 win team. Oh yeah, that's a seems like a high ceiling for how bad they've been recently. But I mean, when they had Mike Vrabel and Marcus Mariota, that team they were something special. Titans were something crazy back not too long ago. They've been wanting to get back to that form before their front office made some horrible mistakes.
Yeah.
Some of their best players.
All right, now we come to the New Orleans Saints. They're at number 26 here.
Love it. What does that say? Build off 2025.
Build off 2025.
Beautiful. I'm happy right there.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Shough had a pretty impressive limited rookie campaign. And I mean, you got some strong defensive performances. Chase Young really started to show something there at the end of the season. You got to just keep that energy going.
Him and Cameron Jordan both had double-digit sacks this year. Freaking dominant pressure off the edge. And I just hope we can keep building off of it. Number 1 rookie class this year. All those guys being big contributors in our success late in the season. Keep building off those dudes. And I mean, I like where we're at. We're eating this $90 million in dead cap from old boy Derek Carr retiring, Tyrann Mathieu retired. Got a whole bunch of stuff to deal with in the last few years.
How are you feeling about your O-line? I think there's maybe just some small upgrading here and there, but I don't think it's that.
The interior,
that bad. You just gotta, maybe build up the interior a little bit.
That's where I think we need the most help right now is in our interior. I like our outside guys. You got Fuaga, you got Kelvin Banks, who is going to be all-pro offensive lineman within the next few years, I believe. I like our outside guys. Really just if we can shore up the interior of our O-line and help out with the push in our run game and really help out Tyler Shough. Because that's what struggled all year long was the Saints running game. If we have all these running backs that came out there week in, week out and performed after Alvin Kamara went down for the rest of the season, then by God, we need to get some new offensive linemen to help out in this run game. It's really only slight upgrades. I think Eric McCoy has dealt with so many injuries in his career that it's coming to a pretty tough ending. And same with Cesar Ruiz. Two guys had really great starts to their career and have kind of been on the downtrend. But I think only some slight pieces in our offense that we really need.
Some notable guys that you're going to have that are set to become free agents or unrestricted. So these are guys you might need to replace because I'm not sure how you'll be able to re-sign them with your cap sitch, but there might be a way. But Taysom Hill, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, Alante Taylor, Will Clapp. Those are the big ones that stood out to me. Foster Moreau, I suppose, Landon Young as well, left tackle, Jonathan Bullard.
If we can retain some of that O-line depth, I'll be happy. And Will Clapp.
Yeah, I was going to say like Clapp and Taylor. When I look at this, those are the two most important to try to get back.
Got to retain that O-line depth and Will Clapp and Alante Taylor. So we drafted Alante like 34th overall. He was a second-round pick for us a few years ago. So, I mean, it's a guy we need.
I hate to say this, though. I mean, Taylor had a pretty good season. I think he's going to be kind of expensive.
He's probably going to be a guy that gets a pretty penny to go somewhere else, honestly.
I think another team's going to offer him
coming out of that rookie deal. He's going to want some more money in his pocket.
Mean, he balled out for you guys. Would you say he was your best defensive back this season?
I'd say at least just for overall on his impact, because he's also really good at setting the edge in the run game, and he's a really good tackler. I'd say he's the best defensive back. But as far as just coverage wise goes, I think that we got potential that it might not hit us as hard to lose a guy like him. We may be able to replace that a little quicker.
You do have Kool-Aid.
You got Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
you got Quincy Riley. A lot of, as long as Isaac Iadom ain't out on the field, as long as 29 with the dreads ain't out there, we good.
I remember that guy was on the Broncos. I hated him. He sucked.
Like, just keep retaining that depth. I mean, it might be the end of the careers for Cameron Jordan and Taysom Hill. Demario Davis is already kind of confirmed he might be shopping around in free agency. He's almost 40 years old, had 138 tackle season. I mean, he could get the money to go somewhere else. And
how many draft picks do you guys have?
I believe 7 or 8 this year.
Well, let's see here.
And like the end of the season that we had, it's like, do we want to go crazy with these picks?
4, 5, 6, 8. Yeah, you guys got 8.
That's building off of having 9 picks last year. We're building up young depth on this team.
Right.
It's like, what are we really gonna do with this first pick at 8? I think the world is really our oyster. That no pick is a bad pick, considering the end of the season that we did have on such a positive note. That whoever we take at 8, we just got to hope that they have a great career with us, that they are productive in whatever they do in their rookie season, you know?
And honestly, that could be like potentially Jordan Tyson, or I think Tyson, he might still be there. I mean, I feel like Carnell Tate will probably be the only receiver off the board at that point. There aren't a ton of teams that are.
He likes Shuck, man. He's had some interviews. He wouldn't be too upset getting drafted over here to us.
I think Tyson is better than Tate overall, but
I'm really hoping.
Discussion for another day.
I'm really hoping that we just make the splash, man. I'm seeing all these Jeremiah Love picks at number 8 and all these mock drafts, dude. And with the Chiefs picking right after us, I think we just got to save the NFL. The trouble. I really hope that we do pick Jeremiah Love. The more and more I see us picking them in mock drafts, the more I want us to.
That could be pretty sick. And then you could try trading. At that point, you could try trading Kamara just to get some sort of return.
Something back,
yeah. Well, all right. I think your floor would probably be the same as what you did this year at 7-10. You're going to have a last place schedule. Your division isn't overly competitive as it is.
I think our ceiling 12 wins.
Well, I was going to say like 11-6. I could potentially see 12, but yeah, I think like somewhere between 7 to 11 wins is where I would project you guys. Like I said, I mean, like you're going to have the benefit of you're not in a very difficult conference or division, and you're going to get that last place schedule. And you still won 7 games last year.
Winnable games in our division if we keep our depth around, and let a bunch of bull crap slip, like what happened in the beginning of the season where we just could not close out a game, come out with the win.
The biggest problem is that I think you're just going to have to rely on a lot of youth.
Yep.
And young players. And so there's going to be some of that inexperience, especially now that you're losing some, you're probably going to see some vets like Davis and Jordan.
They might be gone.
Yeah. So that it'll just be hard to replicate veteran presence like that. And so the inexperience in youth might make it it's tough, but I mean, there's already some talent there, so it's like you guys you've at least got the capital to add to that.
Yeah. Like with our cap situation, if we only win like 2-3 more games than the 6 that we did manage to pick up in 2025, I'm still okay with it, because all I know is that the year after that, when we finally have 90 million dead cap off of our books, and we just may, after half the roster being on rookie deals, out of the negative that we've been in for like the last decade.
I feel like once you can get past the Derek Carr,
got to move past all that
cap situation,
bright new era.
That's when the contention window will open up, because again,
it's almost there.
A lot of young guys there on cheap deals that you can
sit patient,
build a little bit of a team around. So we're going to come to the New York Giants here at 25. 3 words: John Harbaugh's team. Cap situation for them, they're not projected to have a ton.
There are it's only 7 million.
Around 7 million.
You're not in the negative.
Yeah.
Something.
They're going to have a top 5 pick, I think. Oh, hold on. And then I think you're going to want to, obviously you want to build around Jackson Dart. You want to make sure you can protect him. You're going to be losing Evan Neal and Roten on your offensive line, so as well as a number of centers like Schlottman, Wan'Dale Robinson. He had a pretty good season. It might be hard to re-sign him. Where you're picking at, here's the thing. I know you've got Malik Neighbors. He is coming off of an injury. I'm picking top 5. I would, if I'm the Giants, Carnell Tate, right? That gives you another weapon for Dart. And a guy that can kind of take a little bit of that pressure off of a injured player returning back. I would really try to get back Cordell Flott, your corner. I think you don't want to lose him. You could that gives you a solid, your secondary keeps them pretty solid. You're still going to have Pinnock back there, and what's the other guy's name? If you remember it, drop it in the comments, but you don't want to, like, the defense is still going to have that talent there. So I think it's just like your trenches, and then give your wide receiver room a little bit of depth, because like when Malik went down, Wan'Dale he really stepped up, but then you just really didn't have anybody else that was super reliable. So, and you might lose Wan'Dale, but you got a top 5 pick and a really elite prospect in Cordell Tate sitting right there. An accomplished coach. Nobody, and not a ton of free agents that I'm like, I'd be too concerned over losing. So
yeah, nothing too crazy.
Russell Wilson, whatever. I mean,
you want to keep Jameis Winston around. You don't want Russell Wilson.
Then Roten, their guard, their tackle Elamuner, which I don't even think he played that much. Like it doesn't look like it's a lot of their starting linemen here. Maybe if you can get a deal worked out with Daniel Bellinger, he was a solid backup tight end. But I think Theo Johnson's really your tight end of the future for that team. But yeah, I don't think the Giants are in that bad of a spot. I would maybe potentially move them up a little bit. I don't know. I guess 25 is not a terrible spot for him.
That's an okay spot.
Floor is, I'll say 6 and 11. But again, this team's ceiling 12 and 5. Essentially, I really like Dart. I like what they got there.
If they got
with Scottaboo, with
if they're
league.
healthy, I could see a 12-win team as well. Honestly,
yeah. Just gotta. I mean, it's tempting to take Tate or like the best available offensive lineman. I think is the only two options you got there at pick number 5. Those are your best two. But yeah, I mean the Giants they got a good coach. They got a young core with a lot of talent. A very talented defense that just needs a little bit better coaching. They could be a force.
it's going to be interesting to see what the Giants do, man. Falcons, boo.
Add depth everywhere. They're at 24th here. They're gonna. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do about James Pierce. His situation is
that is a very interesting situation that they've been brought into now with that coming to light. Literally arrested over the weekend for a domestic violence thing. He was released yesterday, but I don't know what's to come for that.
Dude, it's even worse than that. I mean, he could be looking at attempted homicide charges. I mean, he rammed his girlfriend's car.
Oh my gosh.
He hit a police officer with his car, fled the police. Then, I mean, like, it took like 7 officers to like tackle and subdue him and finally arrest him.
No wonder he got so many sacks this year.
Yeah.
Like 7 grown men to take him down. Yeah, that is a interesting predicament they're in now.
That's just, I mean, like Atlanta, you go from like, I mean, it looked like it was a great move to trade up and get this guy, but he might have just like, he cost you a lot of draft capital to go up and get him. And
yeah,
you went from feeling good about him coming off a 10.5 sack rookie campaign to
now you might lose him.
Will he step on an NFL field? Because like
so he can never even return.
Yeah. I mean, and like it was his ex-girlfriend, Rakia Jackson, who's now a prominent WNBA star. And like he just almost like he was stalking her, rammed her car. So I mean there's all this property damage.
Because he added multiple like potential charges to that scenario. So I saw a thing, it was just the domestic violence aggravated stalking.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be way worse, whatever is brought up on them. Like he just went off the deep end. So that'll certainly hurt their defense there. But you brought in Stefanski. Who was the other guy they had on the other side that was rushing the passer? I'm blanking on his name. He also had a really good season. I'm gonna go pull up the Falcons roster here. Atlanta, where is their cap situation? Around 27 million. So I mean, you're gonna have to replace that guy. You're gonna have to replace Pierce.
Replace that guy.
Jalen Walker Walker that had another good season.
If depth is what you need at every position, then use what you got to fill up, get the right guys that start.
Let's see. Kyle Pitts is off of his rookie deal, so I mean, he kind of unfortunate for Atlanta that he had his best season on the contract here because
the last year of his deal,
his price probably went up a little bit. Caden Ellis is set to become a free agent. He had a pretty good season. Your D. Alford, that's a big name you're going to need to replace there in your secondary. Let's see here. Anybody else that's of super notable? Tyler Algier. Could potentially lose some depth behind It was a good 1-2 combo with him and Bijan. I'll just say that.
Yeah, he
David
definitely could go somewhere else.
David Sills, he had a solid season. I mean, they're Zane Gonzalez and Bradley Pinion are both set to become free agents. Leonard Williams and David Onyemata are some guys that you definitely need to replace there. So they could be losing some guys here, but they got a decent bit of cap space. They're going to be picking. Where did they pick at? They don't have a first.
They don't
round
have a
pick.
first
That's right,
round pick. It's the Rams.
The Rams got that. So I mean, they're going to have to do their damage in free agency and re-signing there. Because I mean, they're missing. They lost a second this year too. I think also for the James Pierce thing. Like Atlanta doesn't have too many picks, but I mean, they've still got plenty of talent. They've only got
5 picks.
They've only got 5 draft picks.
Oh yeah,
so
they're gonna have to do some damage in the offseason.
Yeah, they're gonna really have to make a lot of their moves in free agency there.
It's crazy they even have money available after getting Kirk Cousins, but I guess it kind of shows how much of their roster in that offseason they really had to get rid of to make that deal work out.
They're set to release him too, which will give them a bit of a dead cap hit, but I think we'll in this year's cap situation free up a bit more money. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but they're set to release him, so I don't know how that's going to really affect their cap situation. Is Michael Penix their guy? That kind of still remains to be seen. But I would put them in the floor of not like floor 8 and 9, ceiling 12 and 5, right in that zone.
Yeah,
there's a ton of talent, and you're losing Pierce, but you still got Jalen Walker. Xavier Watts had a fantastic rookie campaign. Jesse Bates is still going to be there. AJ Terrell is still going to be there. You still got Drake London. You still got Bijan. You're not really losing anybody major on the offensive line, so that's good. You can probably work out a deal with Pitts. Bring him back. I think they kept Jeff Ulbrich, so there's going to be some continuity on the defensive side of the ball. They could definitely end up right back where they were. I could see him, struggling with Penix at the helm, but if he takes another step forward, right now I think Atlanta's probably the most complete team with the best coach. Tampa is probably a little more complete than them, but I think Stefanski's a better coach over Todd Bowles going into next year.
We'll really see what happens. It's if they don't find enough depth, they're going to be in the same scenario that they were last year, where they just have 1 week where they look like the best team in the league, and the next week they look absolutely awful. End up finishing around 500, and their last game of the season is just to throw a wrench in who wins the division. So that's gotta hope that these NFC South teams don't get injured and figure out their youngness early.
Yeah. All right. They have the Vikings at 23rd. Now I'd put the Vikings back at like 26. In fact, I would move.
Yeah.
I would move up Atlanta, New York, and New Orleans, and then put the Vikings back at 27.
Maybe even 27.
I'd move
That's
up,
not even unfair.
I'd move up Tennessee one more spot. QB and leadership. Look, man, McCarthy had very few positive looking performances. And his highs were nowhere near as high as his lows were. Like the lows were craters. They were bottom of the Mariana Trench in terms
They're
of
very
lows.
abysmal.
And his injury history, I mean, he missed his entire rookie season, and then he just had a hard time staying on the field in general.
Yeah.
They did move on from their general manager. They still got a fantastic coach in Kevin Stefanski. They're definitely going to need to add some. I don't know. The running back room is Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. I don't know if that's the answer. What they're kind of in an interesting spot because they're set to have a big cap hit with minus 40 million potentially.
Oh man,
could be up to 43 million. It looks like too. Yeah, so I don't know. Do you maybe try to? I don't know if this is crazy, but trying to trade Justin Jefferson. It just doesn't seem like him and McCarthy have any chemistry, and like
that's true because he usually always has
up to this
a
point,
big game with any quarterback.
Dude, up to this point in his career, he had been pretty much quarterback proof. He was always going to be dominant, no matter
doesn't matter who
the
it
QB
is.
was. I think that would be the most important thing is try to free up some cap space so you could keep your defense mostly together. They don't have too many huge free agent upcoming. Eric Wilson, Jeff Okudah, Tavir Thomas didn't really start. Same with like Fabian Moreau. He wasn't a big starter. Jalen Redmond, that's a guy they don't want to lose. I think he was really good. Let's see who else I got here. All right, they might lose somebody on the offensive line. Jalen Naylor set to become a free agent, so they might want to try to re-sign him. Yeah, I think you got to try to keep the defensive unit, and it doesn't look like they're set to lose too many big pieces. Redmond and Ivan Pace are probably the two biggest pieces that are set to become free agents, but they've got those guys are both in like a restricted or early restricted free agent phase, so it'll be a little bit easier to retain them at least. And then, yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in JJ McCarthy or where this team can go. Because they still managed to win 8 games with him back there.
They need to find a way.
I'll put the floors 7 and 10, feeling 10 and 7. I just don't think there's
that run game has to be on another level next year if they want anything to be successful with JJ McCarthy. You got to take as much pressure off his shoulders as you can. Let the game come to him as easily as possible. He just needs the help right now to develop. It's hard to develop after an injury like he sustained. And I get he did have a lot of time to come back from it, but didn't get enough time to get his feet wet in the league, really, like quite nearly enough at all. So
luckily for the Vikings, looks like they got a lot of draft picks. They've got 4 in the top 100, and then a lot of late round picks, but they're picking 18th. They're probably gonna want to go for either maybe a running back. I think in round 1 though, you based on what your team needs, a corner's your best option. 5, 6, 8. They got 9 picks though, so that's where they're gonna have to do some damage. The new GM's gonna really have to cook.
He's gonna have to make some major plays in that draft.
We did do an early mock draft with them last week on the Football Frenzy if you want to see that. But I think they're like they have a really amazing defensive unit. I believe they got Brian Flores to return there as well. So there's going to be continuity there. That defense was absolutely dominant, especially late in the year. So a lot of it just rides on 9, and that's a bit of a. I mean that gives me a lot of anxiety there. All right, the Carolina Panthers.
22. That's not unfair to rank them. Their playoff team actually showed some real improvement offensively. Time to build off Bryce Young potentially.
Yeah, they're gonna have around 11 million in cap space. It looks like so. Not a ton of spending money, but enough to maybe make a splash signing here or there.
I really don't think they have a lot of people too important that are exiting.
DJ Wanham, that's somebody that he's a solid
Pretty solid year.
D lineman, yeah. Wouldn't hurt to get him back. On the offensive line, their center and their guard Brady Christensen and Austin Colbert set to become free agents. Rico Dowdle set to become a free agent.
This is what gets interesting. Where do you go there?
Yeah, Christian Roseboom as well. I would try to bring Rico back, man. I think
this team has some pieces in the running back room that they could trade away for possibly more draft capital. Like Chuba, I feel like Chuba Hubbard could get traded away in this offense, and their run game could still be just as successful.
I would bring Rico back. I'm kind of okay letting your offensive linemen walk and try to replace them because their O-line was struggled to find any consistency all year.
They were pretty consistent in run blocking, but not when it came to protecting the quarterback. I guess towards the end of the year, they did fall off.
Rico's numbers really
fell off a cliff
at the end of the year. Yeah. And then, I mean, in that playoff game against the Rams, like Bryce Young was most of the offense in that game. Set to lose Isaiah Simmons, that could hurt. Nick Scott as well. Pretty a good safety there. Travis Gibson is set to become a free agent. Jalen Coker could become a free agent. I think he's a really underrated wide receiver too.
Definitely a lot better than Xavier Leggett's been for him. Because they've got a good future right now. I think with Coker, they targeted him the most out of any wide receiver on first downs. It was their biggest target when they threw it on first down, and they had Tedero and McMillan out there.
I think
it was just the catch machine, the Queen City catch machine.
Yeah.
Tedero and McMillan.
The Panthers are. I think their floor and ceiling aren't too far apart. I think the floor could be like 9-8. Right? I don't see why they couldn't replicate similar results to what they did last year. But I don't think like they could go much higher than like 11-5.
Yeah, let's say the highest possible ceiling for me would be 11-5, 11-6.
Yeah. Like I think they'll be right around that 8-9 win, potentially 10 mark again. They aren't losing. Like there's definitely some solid players set to become a free agent, but I don't think besides Rico, there's nobody like major to their team that they couldn't replace.
Yeah.
And Rico, it's like he could be replaced, but I just don't know if they're they're going to want to spend. It's probably just cheaper to try to bring him back than try to spend the money on one of the few premier guys at running back that's set to become a free agent. But 22 seems like a fair spot for them.
That's pretty fair.
Let's be the big prove it year for Bryce. I think they got to I think Canales just really has to just let him open it up and sling the rock.
Really,
that'll be big.
Really see what he can do. Yeah.
All right, the Steelers.
21. That. It's really just all dependent on what happens with at quarterback.
Yep.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to stay? Your ceiling is mid. Your ceiling is another 10-win team.
Even with a rookie quarterback, I mean, you've got Steelers are ninth in cap space coming up here. They got $44 million.
That's what helps them
on the books. Let's see any notable free agents that they have coming up here. I mean, Kyle Duggar, Cole Holmcomb was could hurt to lose. Kenneth Gainwell was really good for him. Right tackle Andres Pete, Chuck Clark, another safety, so they could be losing multiple safeties. Sandwich Jabril Peppers, cornerback James Pierre, wide receiver Calvin Austin. He had a pretty good year. So they're gonna have to do some work with the secondary, and then I think they're gonna need to bring in more weapons at the wide receiver room. But excuse me, man, I think we can just breeze through this. Mike McCarthy for Mike Tomlin.
That's not an upgrade.
Your ceiling 9-8. Your floor 9-8. Your ceiling 10-7. First round exit in the wild card.
Yep. It doesn't matter who it is running the show. Steelers go and pick up Joe Milton, and he gets his shot out there in Pittsburgh. We're right in the storyline here.
It's just going to be the same level of mediocrity for another year.
Yeah.
All right, the Commanders got to rebuild the operation. They were 2 years ago NFC Championship game to 5-12. So they've changed both coordinators. They let go of 4 other defensive coaches. You really got to build the offensive line. Got to keep Jaden Daniels healthy. And then the defense, you need speed. You need some playmakers.
And some youth.
Yeah. One of the oldest defensive units. They just felt slow out there, and they really struggled to cover all season. Lattimore's kind of he's no longer the corner he was when he was in New Orleans. Mikey Sanders still hasn't really worked out of Michigan. I don't even know who I'm blanking on the other guys that they got back there at the moment because it's been pretty bad. So the secondary is going to need some help, and then a dynamic edge rusher as well. So where is Washington? They do got a lot of cap space. They can make some moves. They can be aggressive. Around $68 million. Just about. Going to have a top 5 pick. I think this is where good shot Caleb Downs falls to you. Get a nice rangy safety who can play the run, come up and help you support like that. And then Debo's set to become a free agent. So I think he didn't add a whole lot to your offense. I say you let him walk. Try to bring in a wide receiver talent elsewhere. Some other notable names. They got Marcus was a pretty good Mariota's a good backup, so it might hurt to lose him. I mean, these guys are old, but they still were contributing for the team. And Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, Jonathan Jones, he's another one of their corners, so you can let him walk. Austin Eckler, I don't know if I'm too interested in re-signing him.
Nah. They gotta let their young backs get an opportunity, man.
Noah Brown, I don't know if I care too much if he comes back.
He was all right.
Noah Igbenogany was their best corner, so I say that I'd be interested in trying to keep him. Try to re-sign George Fant. I don't know if there's anybody else really all too noticeable or notable for them. Chris Paul, I would try to get him to come back. I think he had a pretty good season for them on the offensive line. Yeah. I mean, they're not losing too many crucial players, and like the big guys that they are losing are getting up there in youth, so it's not the end of the world if you lose those guys.
Yeah. I think they just gotta keep adding to it. They went into this season with not a lot to work with. A lot of people going into contract years into this year, not a lot of money to re-sign anyone. They had a pretty big window that I don't think anyone really saw that was that wide open last year. Now,
I think they extremely overachieved and overperformed last season. And then they took a big step back because they were way ahead of schedule last season, and then they kind of came back down to earth this season. They were so successful in Daniel's rookie campaign that set him back just slightly in his sophomore campaign. But let's record prediction for this team. I think the floor could be 5-12 again. But I'm willing to say the ceiling is 12-5, like they did in the rookie campaign. A lot of it's just dependent on the QB's health, and then I don't know, that running back room. I just don't. Gonna need to see some more from them. They just didn't really prove to be that great of a room. Bill Krosky-Merritt was a little overhyped, probably. And I mean they'll need some weapons too for the rook, but they've got a lot of options. That's the big. I mean they've got assets to build with. All right. The Indianapolis Colts, they'll be looking to run it back. They're here at number 19 in the early power rankings. I think they just got to try to stay healthy, man. Keep Daniel Jones healthy. Keep the offensive line healthy.
Are they going to re-sign Daniel Jones? I think they'll probably re-sign him.
Yeah, it seems like they really have a plan to have him on the roster. And he's working with around $35 million in cap space. And some notable free agents that they might be losing, right? Like Daniel Jones could be a free agent. Kwity Paye, Braden Smith, Mo Alley Cox, Alec Pierce. I think Pierce is probably gone. Jermaine Pratt, Nick Cross. Those are the big ones that they're set to lose. Blake Groupie. I mean, I know you don't want.
He doesn't need to be signed anywhere.
You can't lose a guy like that, caveman. So
he doesn't need to be on any team.
Those are the big names that they're looking at that they could potentially be losing. Like I said, they got some money to re-sign some of those guys. They don't have a first-round pick, so they're going to have to do some damage in free agency. it'll be tough, but they can keep Jones healthy, and if he can replicate some of those numbers he was having early in the year, that'll really open things up for Jonathan Taylor. I'll put the floor for the Colts, early floor, 7-10, but the ceiling could be 13-4. They could be in a position to be near the top of the NFC South. Be interesting to see what happens with Houston.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
NFC South is going to be a pretty solid division, though. So it'll be like which team kind of emerges as the favorite out of there. The Cowboys got to fix the defense. Franchise tag George Pickens. I really think on the offensive side of the ball,
they're not bad.
They might have to, if they re-sign Javonte or if they go a different direction, they're fine there. The defense is just so incredibly bad. Yeah, and they don't have, they're set to be pretty far under the cap. So, I mean, it's going to have to try to address this in the draft mostly.
Yeah, that defense cannot stop a parked car all year long.
No, it was a big struggle for them. All right, so let's see who they're set to lose. I mean, man, these are two of their more solid players on the defensive side of the ball, Donovan Wilson and Kenneth Murray. I don't know. Well, Wilson wasn't really that good, but Murray had a decent season. Pickens, they franchise tag, so he's no longer set to be a free agent. Javonte Williams. Miles Sanders was on their roster, apparently. Jalen Tolbert had a solid year. He might be a guy worth re-signing. Brandon Aubrey, restricted free agent, but still could become a free agent. Yeah. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, I just don't feel like they have enough wiggle room to really make major changes on that defense, but I think they can get it from atrocious to just below average. But unfortunately, like that, their floor is probably 6-11, and their ceiling's 11-5. 11-6 rather.
Their offense can win them some games for sure. They're definitely not any slouch on offense. One of the best in the league. And they ran the ball at will. Javonte Williams out there. It was looking like it was his rookie year again. I mean,
take me back.
Just get some guys that can cover. Get some pass rush in this draft.
Deron Bland play like a $92 million cornerback. Please. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I said, I think they'll re-sign Mike Evans. They got off to a really hot start.
Sure up their interior of their O-line.
They're going to be around $14.5 million for available cap space to try to bring up some guys. Yeah, I think the interior of the offensive line will be a big thing there. And then a dynamic edge rusher and a reliable tight end. Cade Otton he goes missing for like large periods of time.
Weeks on end.
He'll have a really great game, and then you won't hear from him for a month and a half. So yeah, he's not the guy there. Other upcoming free agents that they're going to have. Let's see. Let's take a look. Hassan Reddick, but he's kind of getting up there. Mike Evans, Jamal Dean, Levante David. Those are some pretty big names. Sterling Shepard, Kendall Vildor, Rashad White, Dan Feeney, Charlie Heck, 2 offensive linemen there. Anthony Walker, Deion Jones. Auden's set to become a free agent. I say you let him walk. Yeah, those are the big guys that are set to go. So yeah, there's no way they re-sign all of those guys. Some of them you just got like some of the older guys, David, Reddick, even Sterling Shepard. Like I wouldn't stress too much about trying to re-sign them. Deion Jones, I think he's on the north of 30, but I think he's still one of the league's better linebackers. Yeah, let Aiden get out of there. Otten rather. Like I said, I Tampa's closer to to being the more talented roster. I don't know how much I trust Todd Bowles as a coach, though. I mean,
had a really good defense last year,
and I don't trust Baker that much anymore, man.
If they can shore up, I think the interior of their offensive line hasn't been as good as it was. And that kind of puts him under a lot of pressure when the pocket instantly breaks down. That's where I feel like he gets a little shaky, is when he runs out of options quickly. It feels like the whole world comes crashing down for that offense. So, I mean, I'm hoping for that to happen, though. You know,
I'll put the Bucks in that 6-11 to 11-6 range somewhere. I think they could finish anywhere in between there. I don't know.
Season to go in, second place schedule.
Yeah,
and you're gonna be hurting coming into the season if you don't make the right moves. They can't be in the same spot they were in to end this season at all.
Yeah, not exactly. All right, the Cincinnati Bengals, the next team. They gotta improve the defense.
Improve. That's they need to do everything for that defense.
They were better late in the year. All right, I'll give them that. Okay. And
that's fair.
Despite the contracts that they've given to Joe Burrow and Chase and T. Higgins, they're looking at around 53.
There's a lot of guaranteed money on those deals. A lot of guaranteed money.
This year it doesn't hurt them that bad. I mean, they're probably just 2 or 3 years away from being like really underwater with those contracts. And do you try to bring back Trey Hendrickson? I'm kind of in a boat where you let him go and just see what, because he's 31 now. Let another team pay him all that money. You're going to have enough to deal with all your offensive stars contracts later down the line. Other notable players, Geno Stone was kind of terrible for him. Noah Fant was solid there.
Noah Fant's actually a guy I think might be gone.
Yeah.
Might get some
probably
money somewhere else.
Dalton Reisner, Cam Taylor-Britt, I think those would be some important guys to try to.
Really not a lot of guys are going to be free agents either on this team. I guess that does kind of help you.
They're not losing too many people. The big one, I would just let Trey Hendrickson walk. That will clear up a lot of space for you. Where the Cincy draft at? Let's see what they got here. They're at number 10. So, yeah, I mean, they're in play for a really good, they could get a good defensive player at that spot, either interior or on the edge. Slight chance that maybe Caleb Downs drops them. He wouldn't be terrible to have there. So I think they just use free agency to try to get some interior offensive line help. Just try to keep Joe Burrow upright and healthy. And your defense, the defense doesn't need to improve monumentally. They just need to become, if they can replicate what they did late in the year where they were just average.
That could get it done if your guys are healthy, man.
They were kind of rolling through people with just average defensive play. I mean, they were playing a lot of teams that didn't really have anything to play for, but it's the blueprint's there to be successful. I think they really gotta, if they're smart, they'll try to go all in to really build a big team.
Yeah,
a team to go this year, because that window, I think it's open slightly a little more with if you let Hendrickson go. But you've really only got 1 or 2 years to hit that. I'll say the floor for this team, 8-9, ceiling 13-4 for Cincinnati.
Yeah. Definitely going to be a good team, man. You got to protect Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Let that offense stay healthy all year.
All right. The Chargers here at 15. Secure the edge. So I think for the Chargers, it's protect Herbert.
Yeah, that should be their off season in 3 words.
I would probably slide LA back a few spots because I think they're in a tough spot where you have a lot of work to do on that offensive line, but also you could potentially be losing Khalil Mack, Odafe Owe. You got to decide if you're going to offer an extension to Tuli Tuipolatu.
They're going to have a lot of money. $82.1 million projected to have once the new league year starts. So
they're up there at 4.
They're just in a rough spot. They got a lot of guys to re-sign.
They did lose Jesse Minter, so I think schematically he was really getting a lot out of that defense. There's definitely some talent there, but I feel like the defense is going to take a step back with Minter gone. So they're going to probably want to bring in some more guys there to try to compensate for the loss of a really good coordinator. But again, if I'm the Chargers, I am just making sure that I have depth for my offensive line because and that the interior needs the most help. If Slater and Alt stay healthy, you're pretty good on the edges there. You just need to make sure you can protect Herbert up the middle. That'll be the most important thing there.
Got to keep that man healthy. Yeah. See, you got a potential to, MVP level quarterback right there.
As the line just
stacked all year long.
As the line got, as their health got worse and worse, and as they had to go further down the depth chart, it just his numbers just went down. And they really struggled to run the football all year, and Harbaugh wants to run the ball. So
he wants to be smash mouth. And this is kind of finally his chance, though, to build that team up to really bring some power running back to the offense. 82 mil.
Yeah.
This guy knows what he wants to do already.
I think a dynamic tight end or a true number 1 wide receiver. Like Keenan Allen's too old to really be that guy. Lad McConkey's struggling to prove that he can be in. Yeah, Quentin Johnston is just way too.
I kind of like Gadsden. He drew a lot of attention where later in the year, Keenan Allen had some pretty explosive performances. So spend all that money on a receiver or go and get a guy in the draft.
That's true.
So, this team would be pretty solid, somebody that could be a little similar to Keenan Allen, that Chris Brazzell kid, would be a pretty solid piece for Justin Herbert in this offense.
Overall, they've got the coach. They've still got plenty of talents here. They've got a lot of cap space. I think the Chargers are a team I think could easily repeat for the playoffs. They're to me like a 10-7 to 12-5 type of team again.
They won that many games with the crappy O line. Let John Harbaugh make some moves in this offseason to start that run game up.
They could easily.
It could even see 14 wins being their ceiling.
Yeah.
14, 15. They're in a real tough division, though. I mean, it's going to be hard to come out of the AFC West with less than 3 or 4 losses, honestly.
That's why I put them at like 10 to 12 wins, because
even if you win that division, probably like 2+ losses for each team in the division.
I would put the team that wins that probably at 13 as the max.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be a battle. I don't imagine the Chiefs are as bad as they were this year. Again, all right, we're gonna have the Baltimore Ravens here at 14. All about Lamar.
They got to get him some help, dude.
They're gonna have to get a new contract for him, and yeah, they got to get him somebody to throw to. Let's see, cap space for the Ravens. They're not looking terrible, I don't believe.
They're gonna be,
or actually, where are they? Okay, they're middle of the pack. They're around 22
million,
22.5 million. So
not bad.
Not terrible. Free agents leaving. Draymond Jones is a guy they might want to try to re-sign. Hopkins, I think you let walk. Kyle Van Noy, again, I think you let walk. He's getting old. You want to get Tyler Lindenbaum. Been a fantastic young defensive line or offensive lineman for them at center. He's going to be really important to bring back. Even like Joseph Noteboom, probably want Pat Ricard to come back here. He's set to become a free agent. Chidobe Awuzie could potentially. I think you could probably let him walk. Not too many important guys that are set to become a free agent. Isaiah Likely, that's a big one there. Huntley's a really good backup. You probably want to keep him on the team. Yeah. So the big thing, the couple of guys that you definitely want to get re-signed, I think, are Lindenbaum, even like Ricard, Noteboom, Huntley, and Likely. And draft Lamar, a wide receiver. If you re-sign those offensive linemen, that you have a pretty solid offensive line, and then it's just like you got to run the football with Henry, which I think Jesse Minter, defensive-minded coach, that'll be the identity he wants to establish, is run the ball and then play good defense. Who did the Ravens hire as their offensive coordinator? You can find that real quick.
Oh crap!
It was a pretty solid one. They got Declan Doyle from Chicago.
Yeah,
he was Chicago's OC. This would kind of be his chance to prove, was he a product of Ben Johnson, or was that a lot of him that helped the Bears offense be super successful? But I really like what the Ravens have done. I think they're the favorite. They should be the favorite to win the North. I think it's a rebound year coming for them. They got, where are they picking? They're like 14.
Decent pick.
Yeah,
pretty decent first round pick.
So they pick at 14th. And they've got a lot of draft capital, man. Like they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, so they've got 11 draft picks, around 22.5 million. And they could still move some things around to boost that up, rework some contracts. So Ravens, man, I think it's going to be really hard, barring injuries, for them to do bad next year. I love what they've done with their coaching staff. You've still got a top 5 quarterback in the league. You've got Derrick Henry still playing at a very high level at the running back position. I would say, man, I'll put them like, I think the floor is 11-6. The ceiling's like 15-2.
They gotta just get Lamar some weapons, finally build around the guy, and he can get it done.
Where did they finish in the division? Were they second technically, or they were second, so yeah, second place schedule. So I mean, they might now, it won't be as difficult as a first place, and I think they'll be, plenty good to deal with a lot of the teams, second place teams. So yeah. And I got the Ravens when they could win anywhere from 11 to 15 games. All right, the Texans got to improve within margins. So they don't have a ton of cap to work with here. They're projected to come out under like 5 million. So that's not bad. That's a number that you can get yourself, that you can eventually get yourself over. You're just going to have to rework some contracts and everything, but that's not too much money to get yourself out of it and do a little bit of a positive cap space. So they don't have a ton. They won't have a ton to work with. Their big thing, who are they losing on the defensive side of the ball? Because
that's what's really gonna.
That defense was so dominant. It's going to be about trying to replace some of those guys. So, I mean, they're losing Danico Autry, Sheldon Rankins, Tim Settle, all really good defensive linemen. Derek Barnett as well. Jimmy Ward's set to become a free agent. Their free safety. Christian Kirk's set to become a free agent. So definitely some guys it'll hurt to lose, but they're not impossible to replace. You just probably won't be able to. Your defense might take a small step back, but they're in a good position for the defense to still be a pretty elite unit. Right there. So I think their big thing again, offensive line and running back needs major attention there. I think you can let Kirk walk.
That's one guy I think they're gonna have to if they want to build an O-line, because they're about to be negative $5.5 million almost in cap space, with 20 million, almost 21 million in dead cap. That's one that is going to hurt to lose, but it's something at least that can be some value for them in the future, because they need the money.
You've got Nico. Tank Dell should be back and healthy next year, and Higgins and Jalen Noel were both really.
They were good too.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I don't think it's time to pull the plug and panic on Stroud yet, but
because the bigger question is their run game,
and
the offensive line in general. That's another reason why Kirk's got to walk, is because that offense through the air was just fine when CJ Stroud had enough time to to dissect the defense, make the right reads. But even Davis Mills, he had some success too, and he was getting protected.
Like the defense should still be elite if you can improve the offense slightly. I would go like floor 10-7 to 13-4. Could be a 10 to 13 win team, right in that range.
Yeah.
So Houston, they're gonna have to kind of finagle a little bit. They don't have a ton to work with, but luckily they're not getting gashed too much by free agency and everything. All right, number 12 is going to be the Chiefs. Got to restart the reload. Be interesting if Mahomes is ready to go at the start of the year. That was a late season ACL tear. So it'll be interesting how healthy he is at the start of the year, or if you want to risk having him come back early, But they I think the O-line for the Chiefs is all right. They were actually one of the bright spots there. But you need a running game. A lot of the mock drafts I see and am looking at, there's a good shot they could land Jeremiah Love.
There's a pretty good chance. Them picking at 9, he's definitely could be available there.
I don't know, man. Like, felt like Trent McDuffie took a little bit of a step back this year. I feel like they could use a little help at the safety position. I still like Nick Bolton. Chris Jones is still a pretty dynamic player, but I think they could really use some more help generating pressure there. But skill positions, weapons on offense, especially with Kelsey potentially retiring for the Chiefs, that'll be the big thing. I think Steve Spagnuolo is planning to stay, and you've brought Eric Bieniemy back, so you just
got the guy. Yeah,
they should be good again. I'll say they're anywhere from 11 to 13 wins. I really don't imagine I'm not actually sure if Mahomes is going to be good to go out right at the start of the season. So I might say anywhere from 9 to 13, but once he comes back, they should be competitive and looking to go on a bit of a run. So way too early prediction, 9 to 13 wins.
Definitely in that range. Yeah.
Chicago Bears.
I mean,
I think their big thing just try to keep the band together,
Keep the band together, do what you gotta do to clear up your cap space a little bit.
Yeah. Because they're looking to be like on 10 million under 10.5 million.
10 mil under. They gotta clear what they can and just keep that squad together. I mean, a lot of your guys are still going to be on their rookie deals, so that's what's going to help you. I think could definitely be time though to move on from Mr. DJ Moore.
Yeah,
he made
I would try to trade him if you could.
He made some impressive plays from them, but they could really use a number 1 wide receiver for him. For Caleb.
I could honestly be Roman dudes. I think you're fine with Roman and Luther Burden. And like DJ, man, there were some incredible plays from him, but then there were just some real head scratch and lack of effort plays. And there were games where it's like, you're like, how are you such a non-factor? I think that San Francisco game, I mean, no Zacchaeus, no Adunze, and DJ Moore caught one pass.
He's nowhere to be found.
For 7 yards in an absolute shootout. So notable free agents for the Bears, other guys set to become free agents. Kevin Byard, Ryan Bates, Andrew Billings, Jaquan Brisker, Olamide Zacchaeus, Chancey Gardner-Johnson, Nashawn Wright, Braxton Jones, Elijah Hicks. So I would, with how good your line was, I would try to get a deal worked out with Jones and Bates, man. Try to get those guys back if you can. And then Brisker, I'm okay if you let Byard walk. He's 32. But Brisker is going to be 27 going into next season, and their defense was a lot better with him out there on the field. Yeah, I think most importantly is to keep that line good so you can keep running the football. You didn't have great defensive play from the Bears last year, and Caleb still managed to, they still managed to keep games close, come back, pull off a lot of comebacks. So
they forced a lot of turnovers, but by God, did they allow a lot of points and yards. I feel like they just gotta have they could add to some guys on that defensive line, somebody up the middle, maybe help out with your pass rush and your run support a little bit, because Brisker can come in off the edge. Got pressure from him all day long. Coverage guys with Stevenson, and Byard's probably going somewhere to get a bag, so you probably look to replace Kevin Byard. 25th overall pick. I mean, you could definitely got some room in there. Make the picks they need. I mean, they're probably going to be a pretty good team again next year too if they keep everyone around.
I would early estimate I would give them like 10 to 12 wins.
Yeah.
Again, I think the North is going to be another bloodbath. The Lions, I feel like, will win more games than they did last year. Packers are still going to be really good, especially once they get Micah back and healthy. So it'll be a tough division to win, but 10 to 12 wins is definitely possible. They're going to have a first place schedule, but Caleb really is looking like a dynamic player. They do have the Green Bay Packers right ahead of them. My bold prediction, I think the Packers win the North next year, man. I think they're
going to be a squad, man. They got to get healthy.
I can see the inverse of what happened this year happening, where they're going to start the year slower. Guys getting healthy, coming back from injury, but health is going to return down the stretch, and they're really going to pick up some steam.
The opposite of what's happened the last few years, where they're real hot. They have one of the best defenses in the league,
and for me,
early in the season, and ravaged by injuries.
Right. Jordan Love, I think, is right there on the fringe of being a top 5 quarterback. He's fantastic. They don't have a ton of cap space. Let's see who they got leaving. That'll be the big thing. But I think the Packers, I mean, whatever, Trayvon Diggs is potentially leaving. Don't really need him. Quay Walker, they could miss. Malik Willis, I think, would be important to keep, man. He's phenomenal backup. Romeo Dobbs, Emmanuel Wilson, Bo Melton. Okay, so those are really not too many guys that would hurt. It would hurt to lose. And they don't have too many unrestricted free agents. Like Dobbs is going to be an unrestricted. Willis, Walker, and Diggs, but Bo Melton isn't. Emmanuel Wilson's a restricted free agent. Yeah, so they've got the Packers got an opportunity to keep a lot of that team together. If they can keep Jordan Love healthy and then just stay healthy overall, I would say for them, I'd put them like 12 to 14 wins in
This
that
gonna
zone.
It's gonna be a squad, man. They always seem to make the right moves and just draft those guys. I think in their wide receiver room to clear up some of that cap space, they're okay to make some moves. I think Wicks could be time to move on from Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah.
Really could see your future. What's your future with Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs over there? I mean, because you still got Matthew Golden. We didn't really get to see that guy come out of the garage too much. He had some breakout moments, but nothing really too crazy.
Right. I think Dobbs you kind of let walk. I don't know if it'll be worth trying to pay him what he's probably going to get. He had a really good season this year, so that's unfortunate. But he's probably gonna be gone. But Green Bay, I don't think is in a bad situation.
I think 10 is a pretty solid ranking for them here.
Right there. All right, the Jags, their 3 words: pass, rush, help.
Yeah.
They were 3rd in pressures, but they just couldn't really get the quarterback down. They only had 32 sacks, which was 27th in the NFL. They don't have a first-round pick because they traded up to get Travis Hunter. I think that'll be another big thing for them. Let's decide what side of the ball you want Hunter on more. I don't hate you having him play 2 ways, but I think
be more beneficial to just have him play one spot right now.
Either he's on the field for most of the offenses or defensive snaps, and then you bring him in situationally for the one you're not playing. You're not playing him on primarily. At least to start the year, and then if you find some success there, then you maybe start playing them some more. But yeah, he ended up getting hurt, and you didn't have him late, but that didn't affect you too much because you got Jacoby Myers in that trade. Parker Washington really emerged. Brian Thomas Jr. hit a bit of a sophomore slump, so that'll be interesting to see what type of player are we getting in year 3? Is he going to go back to more of his rookie self, or is it going to be more of the same there?
And what are you going to do with your running back?
Right.
Because he is going on free agency. There's some teams that could use a guy like that in their backfield.
You're also losing Devin Lloyd, Andrew Wingard, Greg Newsome.
Oh, man.
So some big guys that are a big part of your team. Emmanuel Ogba as well. So, yeah, they're going to really need to decide what they do with some of these guys. What's their cap situation looking like? They are towards the bottom, so they're minus 10 million. So they're probably not going to be able to retain everybody. Etienne had a great year. He's probably going to be too much money for him. You're probably going to lose him. So luckily for them, I think I didn't hate how Tootin looked this year, and you could go and grab a guy like Emmett Johnson or Jadarian Price or Nick Singleton in the 3rd round.
Yeah, that trading away Tank Bigsby was very aggressive, knowing that you had your guy on a contract year like that. That was a very confident move by them. They thought their window was there. It was they barely missed.
I like Liam Cohen though. I don't believe they've moved on or changed coordinators or anything at all. So
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, there should be.
I like what they got there too. I mean,
a lot of continuity there.
Yeah, keep giving Liam Cohen a chance because he was honestly great. Their offense, once they got a few things figured out, they were really, really good offensively, and they got T-Law going in a kind of a prove it year. I feel like
Yep.
he did this year. Next year, kind of another prove it season, just like the last like 2 or 3 have been for T-Law, but a little bit less weight on his shoulders now that they're just the team as a whole can be in a better spot if they get the right things done in this offseason.
I'll say the Jags are my early predictions. They're going to be a 10-13 win team.
I'd say that too. I'd say like 9-12, and I might even put the Packers at 9 and the Jags at 10.
Yeah, I would flip flop those. All right, the Eagles. Their 3 words: unlock the offense. They're gonna need to do that. Who did they hire as their new OC? Because they fired Kevin Patullo.
Oh yeah, I think they did hire somebody, but I'm not.
Sean Marion.
Sean Mannion.
So
Is that?
Yeah, Mannion.
I thought it said Marion too.
Yeah, Packers QB coach. Last year he'll be the offensive coordinator.
That's something for your passing game, at least, right?
Yeah.
That might open the door a little bit there.
I don't hate that for them at all. Let's see what they're looking like. Cap situation. They got a little bit of money to play with. They're going to be just under 10 mil.
They kind of showed they need some O-line depth this year.
Definitely.
Huge drop off from Saquon's season's first year over there. Huge drop off in all offense as a whole without Kellen Moore over there.
I think you're going to probably lose Dallas Goedert, some other guys that are set to become free agents: Reed Blankenship, Jalen Phillips, Brandon Graham. He might retire.
That's true. Yeah,
Brandon Graham. Braden Mann is their punter. He's also going to be a free agent. Josh Uche, Dory Jackson, Nakobe Dean, Marcus Epps. So they're losing a lot of guys primarily on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that'll be where you try to spend some of your money, try to retain some of those guys like Reed and Jalen. I'd really like to keep. I'm okay probably trying to replace like Uche, Adoree Jackson, Graham. Like I said, he might retire. Nakobe Dean.
That's one I think they need back.
I think he's the most important to bring back. He's very dynamic. It'd be great to bring him back here. I can let Jahan Dotson walk. Yeah. I think then they might be in the position to draft Kenyon Sadiq at their tight end position. Maybe they trade AJ Brown. That's certainly a possibility.
That is a possibility. That is very true.
That there definitely seems to be some strain on that relationship, which would also free up some money for them to, replace some guys on the defense. Because I think you've got a really good receiver draft class. It's one of the more deeper positions this year. So I don't hate trading away a guy like that. You still have Devontae Smith, and I think you could find a replacement. Howie's got a real eye for talent. Although he did draft Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. I'll keep that in mind. But the Eagles, early prediction, I would go anywhere from 11 to 14 wins.
I put them in somewhere in that range.
I mean,
that range there.
They might be developing a pattern where they go first, they start the year really strong, fizzle out at the end of the year, losing the first round, and then the next year finish the year really strong, go on the run, win the Super Bowl.
And the Super Bowl, yeah.
Because they did that. That's what they did 2 years ago. Started 10-0, and then they kind of fizzled out, went 1-5 to end the year, and lost in the first round. But then they go 14-3, won the Super Bowl, and then they sort of fizzled out at the end of the year. This year, lost in the wild card round. So maybe they're going to win the Super Bowl again next year. Place your bets, people.
Yeah. Never know.
There's so much talent on this roster. And I think, like, even though I don't love Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, he's got great arm. Like he's got a lot of arm strength. He's athletic, so he's just not very good at reading defenses. But I think they were able to negate that and win a Super Bowl despite some of those limitations. So they could. I wouldn't put it past them to do it again. And I've got the Lions here at 7. Got to retool the offensive line. Dan Skipper retiring. And that's their second offensive lineman in 2 years to be retiring. Penei Sewell said that the unit wasn't in sync all year. New offensive coordinator in Drew Petzing. Still got, maybe the best back in football. He's right up there. Jahmyr Gibbs, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta.
Yeah, really just retool the O-line. Drew Petzing loves to run the ball.
They don't have a lot of cap space. That's going to be a problem for him.
They can find a way to get some big tanks back up front, or they can just continue pounding the rock with Jahmyr Gibbs and Monty. They're still going to be an insane team because the offense is just loaded with weapons, like you were saying. It's just stacked. Jamison Williams could be a number 1 wide receiver on plenty of other teams.
They're definitely going to be losing some talent though. DJ Reader,
Ooh.
Alex Anzalone,
Oh,
Raymond,
dang.
Amik Robertson, Marcus Davenport, Al-Quadin Muhammad, all guys set to become free agents. They got a fairly large list of guys that are going to become free agents. Those are the biggest names that they're losing. Like Muhammad had a pretty solid year. Like he'll probably get a decent bag somewhere else. Al Anzalone, still a bit older, but he's still been a really good player for them. So it'll be tough to re-sign him. I'd put Detroit, I'll say anywhere from like 9 to 13 wins.
Yeah, definitely somewhere in that range. This year, it really felt like a fluke. They were coming back from Aiden Hutchinson injury, and then they still kind of got real banged up on the defensive side. It's going to be interesting to see how they get this O-line built back up. Let's see what Drew Petzing got himself a good, solid group.
I think the San Francisco 49ers, it says the next nucleus. I would say staying healthy is the big thing here, man. They really, they had a pretty big roster overhaul and a ton of injuries, and they've really overachieved, going 12-5, winning a road playoff game. So now looking at them, they got some cap, $25.5 million is where they're currently sitting at. And I think it's time to move on from Ayuk, obviously.
Yeah.
Some other guys that are leaving. John Jennings is set to become a free agent. Jason Pinnock, Uder Gross-Mayer, Luke Gifford, Kendrick Bourne, Brian Robinson. Okay, so those are the big ones here. You're going to try to get Fred Warner back healthy. Keep Nick Bosa can stay healthy. You've got Yamador Lenore there. Obviously, you just hope Kittle, guys like Trent Williams can stay healthy, keep that whole lineup right. The 49ers, who did they hire as their defensive coordinator too? It was a good hiring. Hold on. Raheem Morris. Right. He was a fantastic DC for the Rams. And a deep wide receiver class. There's a lot. Defensive line's got a lot of depth there. There's a lot of really good corners that you can draft. So, plus they've got plenty of cap. I mean, San Francisco, no reason they couldn't win 12. 15's. I'll say 12 to 13. It's going to be tough in their division, man. But if they really build this roster right, and if when their guys come back from injuries, if they can stay healthy, especially on the defensive side of the ball, this could be a really dangerous team.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they could have a shot to go win the Super Bowl on their division opponent's home field this time, instead of having it happen to them. All right, the Bills. Pressure is on.
Wow.
Try to keep this offensive line together. I mean, Buffalo is going to be around 10 million under the cap, most likely. Obviously, you want that success you have with James Cook and running the football is important. I say you let Bosa walk, you let Daquan Jones walk. Try to get Connor McGovern back. Try to get Matt Milano, AJ Espinoza back. I think you're okay moving on from Tre'Davious White. Even like Damar Hamlin, Cam Lewis, I would try to keep. Jordan Poyer is kind of getting up there. Brandon Cooks, you could let walk. They've got a number of guys that they can kind of let go. Focus on your offensive line and getting Josh Allen some weapons and a dynamic pass rusher as well.
Yeah. If they don't get something to help that defense, especially when it comes to getting after the quarterback, they are going to be in some trouble.
They need a disruptor. I think that's the biggest thing Buffalo's missing is like a game record type of player, man, that can just, absolutely blow up the game plan for another team. So that would be that might be what could finally get them over the hump here. It's tough. They're going to be the division they'll be between them and the Patriots. I don't think the Jets or the Dolphins are going to be much of a threat.
Yeah, no, not anytime soon.
All right, we're going to kind of have to speed run this. I'm going to say I'd say 12 to 14 is the range I put Buffalo in.
Yeah, that's their ceiling for me there.
All right. Broncos find some pop. I agree with that. Like we've got our defense. We'll have to make some moves at the linebacker position. We're set to lose Singleton and Justin Stranad. So it's just Trey Greenlaw right there in the middle linebacker. But we've got depth on the defensive line. We've got plenty of depth at cornerback. We're probably going to need to work on our depth at safety and linebacker a little bit. And then we just need pop on the offensive side of the ball, whether that be we're going to need to still work on that rushing game. And then, just some more weapons for Bo Nix, I think will just be the thing there. Luckily, our line, we're not really set to lose anybody on the O-line. So there'll be some consistency there. And then we promoted Davis Webb. Our division's going to be tougher. I don't know if we could do 14 wins. I'd put us in the 11 to 13 range. Like,
yeah,
if we win the division, we're going to win probably 12 or 13. I'll say 10 to 13. And then if we don't, we're going to probably be looking at a wild card spot where we're at like 10, 11 wins. So, we just got to find some pop. We got the Rams, fixed special teams. Yeah, a great defensive and offensive unit. Special teams just cost them multiple times this year. Just disasters there.
That was really the only reason that they lost the NFC Championship game.
I mean, they were
like the main reason that they were out of that.
They went from getting a stop down 4, potentially getting the ball back, and then all of a sudden, muff punt. Now you're down 11. It was a major swing, and
that just drastically changed the game.
It cost them against the Seattle on Thursday Night Football. Lost them that game against the Eagles. Yeah, you gotta fix the special teams. But the Rams, I'll put them in the 11 to 13 range again. I think their division's just going to be really good. So
yeah,
but if everything goes right, I mean, the West divisions could be just insanely stacked this year.
All right, we got to hurry for the last 2.
All right,
Patriots at 2. I'd say you drop them down to 5.
Yeah.
If you're really freaking sad. They got some work to do. We saw a lot of holes in that Super Bowl game.
I think they're more like I would put them more to like the 7 to 11 range in terms of wins. I think there could be a bit of a regression there, but they are well coached, and I do think Drake's pretty talented. And he's got a whole offseason to learn after he struggled against these teams. And then Seattle.
Fair enough.
Break the bank. Yeah, keep it on number 1. Again, I'll put them in the 11 to 13 range with the other top teams in their division. They're pretty capable of repeating.
But that's it, everybody, for our show. Drop your record predictions for your favorite teams and all that good stuff. And stay tuned tomorrow. Arizona's unbeaten streak has been ended by Kansas. Rock Chalk took down the Wildcats. And the Pistons and Hornets on Monday night was like Monday Night Raw, baby. They were throwing down in Charlotte.
A lot of fights in the NBA, the Olympics. When the Olympics have officially kicked off, we've gotten some medaling events there as well. A lot of sports still to come tomorrow, but this is going to be our final football frenzy of the
finale.
Season. Thank you all for tuning in all season long. Great NFL season, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness, one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm, and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25, and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up. Stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.